Hello everybody, good afternoon. My name is Meet Roy and my ID is 1818009. Today, the topic of my presentation is globalization, a contested concept. What is globalization? Globalization is thus a highly contested concept and phenomenon. It attempts to provide a definition of globalization. Globalization first appeared in the 1940s but did not gain widespread traction until the 1990s. Indiscriminate use of the word globalization is very confusing. Manfred B. Strager describes globalization and explains with different examples the different views of scholars on why globalization is a controversial issue. This chapter focuses on the nature and dimensions of globalization as illustrated and what globalization is actually consists of. Despite disagreement of among scholars, they suggested four important features of globalization from the five definitions. First, globalization involves the creation and of news and a multiplication of existing social networks and activities that increasingly overcome traditional political, economic, cultural, and geographical boundaries. For example, Al Jazeera TV that made possible by the combination of professional networks, technological innovation, and political decisions that permit the emergence of new social orders that transcend parochial arrangements. Second quality of globalization is reflected in the expansion and the staging of social relations, activities, and interdependencies. We can say that Osama bin Laden's organization Al Qaeda ultimately turning into a global terrorist network. The next quality of globalization involves the intensification and acceleration of social exchanges and activities. The last and fourth quality of globalization is the creation, expansion, and intensification of social interconnections and interdependencies that do not occur merely on an objective material level. Despite the influential definition of globalization, there still remain several areas of contestation. People affected differently in various parts of the world, and that's why have their own view about globalization. Some scholars argue economic process, and others scholars argue environmental process as the essence of globalization. Others privilege political, cultural, or ideological. But some globalization skeptics argued that this was a very limited and uneven process that does not exist. On the other hand, the author believes that globalization is a geographically limited and uneven process, as the global north lags behind the global networks and infrastructures and does not benefit equally from it. The author here has simply analyzed with examples to understand the existence of the nature and the dimensions of globalization. Many changes in the quality of life as a result of globalization and its effects are discussed. The author beautifully presents that as it contributes to the betterment of the world, it also contributes to the major terrorist activities. Above all, different views and opinions on the definition and structure of globalization have been presented with arguments. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you, my honorable course teacher. I hope you enjoyed it.